Welcome to the Daily Vibecasting. We're diving straight into today's buzz from X, hitting you with a rapid-fire deep dive into the posts everyone's talking about.
That's right.
We've got a packed lineup today. We're cutting through all the noise, to bring you the most important nuggets, the stuff you need to know.
Exactly. Think of it as your essential download on what's trending. We've got tech, global stuff, market trends, social commentary.
Good stuff.
All the good stuff. Posts that offer real insights, spark conversations. So, yeah, get ready for a brisk ride through today's online pulse.
Okay, let's jump right in. This first one, it definitely caught my eye. It's from @ItterIntellectus, Vittorio, who posted, "I cried when I learned that the world average IQ is 85.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really emotional reaction to a statistic. And I think that number 85 probably surprises a lot of people. What's behind that?
Well, you're right. It does catch people off guard. That figure 85, it often comes up in studies like Lynn and Becker's work. They adjusted scores looking at really diverse global populations. And they found these regional variations. It challenges that standard 100 average we're used to hearing about, mostly from like Western contexts. And you see similar things like the 2024 International IQ test, massive sample size, 1.3 million people. It showed lower averages and, less developed regions, often linked to things like education access, nutrition.
So environmental factors play a huge role.
A huge role. But here's the other side of it. There's newer research, like a 2025 study, questioning how much IQ really predicts success anyway.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they found the correlation with things like income and education drops way down, like below 0.02. So it really makes you question what intelligence even means globally.
Absolutely. It's not just the number. It's a whole framework.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Okay, shifting gears. Big news out of Florida. This is from @LeadingReport. Breaking. Florida Gov. Ron DeSantis says he will allow Florida voters to vote to abolish property taxes. Abolishing property taxes. I mean, that sounds like a potential game changer, doesn't it? Or maybe a Pandora's box.
It really does. It's a huge proposal. DeSantis is talking about a $1,000 rebate first for 2025, but the long-term goal is elimination.
Right.
But, you immediately think, okay, where does the money come from? Property taxes fund a lot of local stuff. We're talking about 30% of local education budgets.
Yeah.
Based on NBER data. That's significant.
30%. Wow. So what are the concerns then?
Well, critics, you see folks like at Ricky pointing this out, they worry it could just inflate rents. Landlords might not pass savings on, and it could actually hurt first-time homebuyers.
How so?
Because if local services decline due to lack of funding, property values could be affected, or other taxes might have to go up to compensate. Plus, census data does show property taxes often get passed on to renters anyway.
So the question is, who really benefits? And what happens to schools, roads, all those local services?
Yeah, what are the ripple effects when you pull such a major funding lever? That's the big debate.
Definitely one to watch. Okay, next up, a historical perspective. @JDVance posted simply an all-timer.link. Now, assuming the link digs into past U.S.-China relations, what's the takeaway here? What does this historical moment tell us about where things stand today?
Right. This likely points to that period during World War II, which is a really interesting contrast to now. You had the U.S. providing significant military support to China against Japan.
Like the Flying Tiger?
Exactly. The Flying Tigers, aid via the Burma Road. I mean, over 2,000 American lives were lost in that effort supporting China. A clear alliance.
The very different picture from today.
It's totally different. You fast forward, and under Xi Jinping, China's foreign policy is much more assertive. Think about the South China Sea disputes, ignoring international rulings. It's a stark contrast.
And the U.S. response reflects that tension, right? With defense spending and focus on the Indo-Pacific.
Absolutely. You see it in the budgets, like the Pentagon allocating $170 billion for Indo-Pacific deterrence in 2024. So, yeah, that post really highlights this complex legacy, past allies, present rivals. It's a reminder of how dramatically geopolitics can shift.
It really is. Okay, now for a very serious and significant development. This is from @BettyJohnson. Breaking. Epstein victims and survivors announced they will be releasing their own client list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. We will compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. This feels like a major step, survivors taking control.
It's incredibly powerful. And you saw similar posts from others, like @CharlieKirk11. This comes after the House Oversight Committee released, tens of thousands of pages.
The big document.
Exactly. But many survivors and advocates felt it just wasn't enough. Too many redactions, delays. It felt insufficient.
So this is driven by frustration.
Largely, yes. Frustration with the official channels. It's a kind of grassroots push for transparency, saying we'll do it ourselves. There's also this backdrop of legislative efforts like the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which faced hurdles. It points to a broader trend,
Where
really.
did I just at?
Victims feeling unprotected by the system and moving towards victim-led justice initiatives. You see echoes in things like Virginia Groof's memoir being published. It's about taking back the narrative and seeking accountability
So
directly.
hugely significant move. Okay, let's shift to something impacting sports fans. This is from at NFL Dove Kleiman. Scott Hansen confirms NFL RedZone will now have full commercials this season, not just overlay ads. What happened to the sport we love, Fo?
Oof.
RedZone without commercials was, well, it was an institution. People are genuinely upset about this. Feels like a loss.
It really does. It breaks a 16-year tradition, doesn't it? And it's a prime example of how, media deals and money are changing the fan experience.
So what's the specific driver here?
It's tied to ESPN acquiring a stake about 10% in the NFL network in RedZone. That deal finalized just last month, August 3rd, 2025.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So ESPN wants to monetize.
Pretty much. They want to maximize revenue, especially as traditional TV viewership for games has been dipping. Nielsen showed a 10% drop between 2021 and 2024. They even tested overlay ads last year.
Right, I remember those split screen ads.
But now it's full commercials. And the fan backlash is real because, well, studies show uninterrupted sports viewing boosts engagement, so it feels like losing something core to the RedZone experience.
Yeah, trading tradition for ad revenue. Sign at the Times, I guess. This next post, though, it's quite heavy. From at BoringBiz. An entire generation under the age of 30 is coming to realization that having a family and home will never be within the grasp of reality for them. Society is not ready for the consequences of this. A generation with no stake in the system would rather watch it burn. Wow, that's a bleak outlook.
It's incredibly bleak, but unfortunately it reflects some harsh realities young people are facing. The data kind of backs up the sentiment.
How so?
Well, look at homeownership. Census data from 2023 shows only 25% of 18 to 34-year-olds own homes. Compare that to millennials at the same age, it was 45%.
That's a massive drop.
Huge. And a big reason is housing costs just soaring up 40% since 2015, way faster than wages. And this economic strain, it takes a toll. Mental health impacts are serious.
Yeah, can imagine.
A 2022 study linked youth unemployment and underemployment to a 30% rise in depression rates among young adults just since 2020. Some people even draw parallels to the Great Depression in the 1930s, that sense of youth disenfranchisement.
And are there other factors like job competition?
Potentially. Some point to things like visa policies. 2024 State Department data showed over 600,000 foreign white-collar workers annually. Some argue that adds pressure on the domestic job market for young grads. It feeds into this feeling of being excluded from, the traditional paths to stability.
A generation feeling like the deck is stacked against them. That's sobering. And it's kind of related. This next post from at Unusual Whales. Only 18% of U.S. individuals earn more than $100,000 per fortune. Only 18%.
Yeah.
I think that number would surprise a lot of people. $100 caught on often feels like the benchmark for making it, but maybe it's less common or goes less far than we think.
That's exactly it. That 18% figure, it lines up with IRS data from 2023, which put the median individual income way lower, around $48,000.
$48,000.
Yeah. So it really highlights the income disparity. The top 20% of earners take home over 52% of all the income in the U.S.
Wow.
And even if you do hit $100,000, well, it doesn't buy what it used to. Inflation, rising costs for everything housing is up 20% just since 2020, according to one study. So $100K today just isn't the same marker of wealth it might have been even a decade ago. Your purchasing power has shrunk.
So that perception of what a good income is, it's lagging behind the economic reality for a lot of people.
Absolutely. The goalposts have definitely shifted.
Okay, let's turn to police accountability. A provocative post here from @endwokeness. BLM's push for body cams continues to be one of the biggest self-owns of all time, Link. That's a strong statement, directly challenging the purpose of body cams.
It is a strong take. The implication, usually with posts like this showing certain footage, is that body cams often end up capturing criminal behavior by suspects rather than just police misconduct, kind of flipping the script on their intended use.
Right. The original push back around 2014 after Michael Brown's death was very much about police accountability, wasn't it?
Exactly. That was the driving force behind Black Lives Matter, advocating for them. Now, the evidence on whether they actually reduce police use of force, it's been mixed, honestly. A big 2016 study found varied results.
So how are they being used now, mostly?
Well, they're widespread. 86% of agencies had formal policies by 2017, and recent findings, including pilot programs like one with Customs and Border Protection, suggest the footage is frequently used to aid prosecutions.
Ah, so evidence gathering against suspects, not just oversight of officers.
Often, yes. Like in a 2025 Alexandria police case, the footage was key evidence. So the Post raises that question. Are body cams primarily serving the accountability purpose they were championed for, or have they evolved into a different kind of tool in practice?
Interesting evolution. Okay, from policing to, well, something almost sci-fi. A hot mic moment. Colin Rugg posted this. New W. Hot mic picks up Russian President Putin and China's President Xi Jinping talking about organ transplants and living 150 years or more.
Wild stuff.
Totally. Xi apparently says, these days, 70 years old, you're still a child. And Putin talks about biotechnology developing, human organs being continuously replaceable, maybe. What's going on here?
It's pretty astonishing, isn't it? Hearing these two major world leaders casually discussing radical life extension, potentially to 150 years, through biotech and organ transplants, and the setting makes it even more surreal. This was apparently during China's huge Victory Day parade just yesterday, September 3rd.
Wow. So beyond the sort of, wow, leaders talk about weird stuff aspect, what are the implications?
Well, it immediately brings up huge ethical questions, right? Especially around organ transplantation. Given China's history and the ongoing controversies surrounding organ harvesting allegations, hearing Xi talk about this raises serious concerns.
For sure. It's not just idle chit-chat when it's them discussing it.
Exactly. It mixes high-level geopolitics with these really futuristic, morally complex medical ambitions. It makes you think about feasibility, access, ethics, the whole package.
Definitely food for thought. Okay, next, a controversial look at welfare benefits. Amuse posted, MHA. Houston, we've got a problem. Hundreds of Taco Bell locations take S&T EBT debit cards. These lovely women just ate over $150 worth of stackers before they got out of their car. Surely this isn't healthy.
Right.
This post challenges how S&A benefits are used. What's the policy here?
Right. So in some states, Arizona, California, and Michigan are examples. There's a policy that allows people receiving SNAP benefits using their EBT cards to buy prepared hot foods at certain approved locations, including some fast food places like Taco Bell.
Okay, but S&A is usually for groceries, right? For nutritious food.
That's the core intent, yes, to support nutritional needs. But this restaurant meals program component allows for things like, well, Taco Bell stackers, which are pretty high calorie, around 400 per serving. The Post mentions a video showing over $150 worth, including like 17 stackers.
Wow. So the concern is about health outcomes.
Exactly. Public health advocates worry that allowing SNAP funds for fast food could worsen health issues, especially things like obesity. Studies have linked frequent fast food consumption to problems, and when you consider the average monthly SNAP benefit is maybe $500 in those states, $150 on one meal raises eyebrows about aligning the policy with health goals.
Yeah, it definitely sparks debate about whether the program structure matches its intended purpose of promoting well-being.
It's a tricky balance between access, choice, and health outcomes.
Okay, another post that's causing outrage. This one about professional conduct. Bubble Bath Girl posted, all of these healthcare workers at Sansom Clinic in Santa Barbara, CA, who pose next to stained exam paper, need to be fined and door-fired. Mocking patients like this is disgraceful. Just awful.
Truly appalling. This involved a TikTok video. Healthcare workers seemingly mocking patients, posing stained exam paper with captions like, make sure to leave your healthcare workers sweet gifts like these. It's just a blatant violation of professional ethics and basic patient trust.
Absolutely. What are the potential consequences for something like this?
They can be severe. Beyond the immediate public backlash, unprofessional conduct like this can seriously jeopardize patient safety and care quality. Regulatory bodies can impose heavy fines, suspensions, even termination. It's taken very seriously.
And it probably feeds into wider concerns about accountability in healthcare.
No doubt. This kind of thing surfaces amidst growing public scrutiny. You see massive settlements like Sutter Health paying $228 million recently over alleged insurance premium inflation. Incidents like this TikTok video, amplified by social media, just intensify calls for stricter oversight and accountability.
A stark reminder of the trust we place in healthcare workers.
Right.
Okay, finally, let's circle back to the Epstein situation. A critical take on the survivor strategy from @Matt Walsh blog. Why don't they just say the names now? What's the point in doing this press conference unless you're going to just say the names? There is zero strategic or legal benefit to announcing ahead of time that you have names and will release them at some point. It's a very direct challenge.
It is. Walsh is essentially questioning the tactic of announcing a future release versus just disclosing the names immediately. He argues there's no strategic upside to the delay and maybe even risks.
Implying it might not be effective or maybe even safe.
Potentially. The Post kind of implicitly asks, if you have the names and the goal is transparency, why wait? Is fear a factor? If so, does announcing it help or hinder? It reflects a certain skepticism you see sometimes in the media and public about the timing and methods used in these complex cases.
Right, so it's not just about what the names, but the how and when of disclosure, which itself becomes part of the public debate.
Exactly. It shows how even the tactics used by victims pursuing justice can come under scrutiny and become part of the larger narrative.
Fascinating. Well, that wraps up our daily vibecasting for today. Quite a whirlwind economics years, global power dynamics, serious questions about justice and accountability.
Yeah, a real snapshot of what's buzzing, from, generational anxieties about the economy to ethical debates sparked by biotech to how we navigate truth and accountability in the digital age. It really leaves you thinking, with information moving this fast, are we actually getting smarter or just, quicker to react? What does that mean for us going forward?
A great question to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.